Hello, welcome back to I Create For You. We are going to do another ghost story and sketch. It's called The Ghost in the Steeple. When Clarence Morvid died in 1973, the last person to actually witness the haunting of the little country church in the eastern Black Hills was laid to rest. The peculiar story concerning the ghosts in that church might have been laid to rest with him and lost forever, had not Mr. Morford's niece, Frances Wade, written down the details as told them to her years ago. The written account was subsequently destroyed in Rapid City, but Mrs. Wade remembers the gist of it, if not every detail. The following is her uncle's story. She kept it to herself until now. The church has been gone for many years, but as far as we can tell, it was located somewhere between Rapid City and Rockerville. It was very large for a country church, the congregation numbering about 50 people. The most striking feature of that white frame structure was a steeple which soared high above the surrounding countryside. The church sexton rang the bell in that steeple every Sunday morning, and the deep, solemn peal could be heard echoing through the birch and pine trees for miles around. John Fry was the sexton, a shy, unobtrusive man who went about his work with a great sense of reverence and duty. Besides bell ringing, the sexton's job was the general upkeep of the church and the church grounds. The members of the congregation couldn't have asked for a more capable man than John. Every week he cleaned, scrubbed, dusted, and polished the interior of that church until it fairly shined. You would have been mighty hard-pressed to find a speck of dust anywhere after John had finished. The stained glass windows were even washed once a week. If cleanliness is next to godliness, then John was about as close as you could get. The loyal sexton also cared for church equipment and washed the vestments. Many an evening he could be found with a needle and thread, mending church fabric by the light of a candle. His duties didn't stop there. In winter, John shoveled snow from around the church door. He also chopped wood and warmed the building long before services started. In summer, he was responsible for cutting the grass in the churchyard and the adjoining cemetery, for pruning the trees and shrubbery, and for tending the flowers. John's green thumb was well renowned throughout the parish. In May, you could count on the churchyard being ablaze with tulips, peonies, and lilacs. John was also the official grave digger. This arduous task had to be carried out regardless of the season or the weather. Winter or summer, rain or shine, when someone passed away, it was up to John to carve from the earth the deceased's final resting place. All this John Fry did most humbly, keeping a low profile, turning aside the praise that was heaped upon him. He lived in a small cabin a short distance from the church, with only his cat for company. From the cabin to the church, that was the extent of John Fry's world. They were apparently limits he was satisfied with, for he always seemed a happy, fulfilled man. One cold, rainy day in April, John was called upon to dig a grave for a parishioner who had recently departed this world. Never one to complain, John set out about his wet, miserable task, despite a drizzle that continued all day, soaking him to the skin. 2 days later, he took to his bed with fever and chills. Reverend Howe happened by that afternoon and discovered John's condition. The doctor was summoned, and the diagnosis was influenza, a serious illness that, if not taken care of, could easily turn into pneumonia. The sexton was by no means a young man, and working all day in the rain had weakened his resistance. John was ordered to keep to his bed, but if the doctor thought his mandate was going to keep the patient from going about his appointed duties, Then the good doctor didn't know John Fry. As soon as the doctor and Reverend Howe left his side, John pulled himself from his bed and began cleaning the church, preparing for services. Palm Sunday was only 2 weeks away, and there was still lots of work to do. Palm Sunday came, and the members of the congregation arrived to find the church conspicuously quiet. No one had rung the church bell that morning. Also obvious was the empty pew in the rear of the church that John Fry occupied every Sunday. The news quickly circulated that John had indeed got pneumonia and had been taken to a hospital in Rapid City. The following Sunday was Easter. As the first worshippers arrived, they were greeted with the most golden, melodious tones that ever emanated from that steeple. The bell was pealing strongly, joyfully, its happy message carried on the soft, early morning breeze. "I'm so glad to hear the sexton is well again," one man said to his wife as they approached the church. They were a few minutes early, having arrived even before the Reverend. Inside the pews, the pulpit, and the oak floors had all been freshly polished. The air was sweet with the pungent scent of Easter lilies that decorated the altar. People began to arrive, and the church quickly filled to capacity. "I'm so glad to hear that Mr. Fry is feeling better," one lady whispered to a neighbor who was sitting next to her. "Land sakes, haven't you heard?" the neighbor replied, her face contorting in surprise. "Mr. Fry passed away last Tuesday." No one came down from the belfry that day. After that, the church council appointed a new sexton. He stayed on for about a week, then left mysteriously, saying something about working with ghosts. Another was hired, and then another. Even as the new sextons came and went, the church somehow always managed to be spick and span for services. The bell always rang too, sometimes at very odd hours. On one occasion, it was reported 2 boys were playing in the churchyard, and the bell began ringing right in the middle of the afternoon. The church door wasn't locked, so the boys hurried up to the bell tower, only to find it deserted. Needless to say, those boys tore out of there like a pair of turpentine cats. So, there's no bats in the belfry, just a ghost who just likes to keep his job, even in the afterlife. Okay, let's see what we can come up with. I'm just going to do a ghost ringing the bell, because that's what he seemed to like to do to start the church off, just to start the church services off. So usually a steeple will have it'll be square. Let me see. This will be the steeple, the top part of the church. And let me see if I can get you down to see closer. There we go. Wasn't moving there for a second. And usually there are it's either open or it's got windows around it, and then the bell usually hangs from the ceiling. So we'll get the bell to hang from the ceiling here. Now I don't ever claim to be a professional artist, so this could just be looking funny the way I'm doing it, but let's see. Let me change this up here. Sorry if I'm shaking you a little bit here, but I will make the bell. Yeah, those were the days when they used to have people actually ringing a bell. Now everything's so automated. Like the ones here in town, some of the old churches here in town, they actually have that they go off. Sometimes there was one that used to be on near the street that I live. Oh my God, that's a horrible looking bell. That I live right now. It was just right up the street here. And yeah, my bell skills are just horrible. I don't know what I was thinking. They should have went out and around like this. Let me redo the whole darn thing. Not like we're going anywhere, right? Sorry about this. I've been having one heck of a week, I'll tell you. My brain's just not working right now. And my last name is Bell, if you want to laugh at that too. My last name is Bell and I can't even draw one. Tell you what. I'm going to get this right one way or the other. And there we go. There's the bell. Anyway, there's like a church that's right up the street, and it was taken over by another congregation, but it used to always ring at noon. In the summertime, you could hear it just go off at noon all the time. There was no services or anything, but yeah, it would just ring and it would play. It was an automatic bell where it played different music. So look at that. It's easy to cover up my boo-boos. Look at that. No one's the wiser. Look at that. Okay. Now we're going to have where they would have, I'm just going to bring it down this way. The rope that would be attached to the bell. And then, sorry about that. I'm going to have a ghostly figure. Now, we won't be able to see him, remember, because he's a ghost. So, got his hand there. Boy, this is a sucky ass picture. I'm sorry. I am really sucking today. Oh, you know what's really creepy? There's actually a face in this scribble that I have. And I'm gonna enhance it. I'm one of those people that can see faces and things. And I'm going to enhance this. And you're gonna see it. And it's gonna freak you the heck out. I'm gonna bring it up to you guys so you can see the face that was in that picture. Is that freaky or what? Okay, that just did me in. That's just creepy. That's some creepy shite right there, if you ask me. I don't know. You know, like, I don't remember. Oh, it said in 70s. He was there in the 70s. So, yeah. Boy, this is like craziness now. I'm just like freaked out because I saw that, yes, that face, the face in that. I was trying to make it like a hooded thing, and then that face appeared on there. Oh man, I'm just like wigged out now. Okay, so this is the top of the steeple, and that's him pulling the string, making this sound to sound for the people. Oh, that just freaks me out. Anyway, um, I know it looks more like a woman with the way the hair is, doesn't it? But I wasn't planning on it to look that way. I was planning on it to be more of a, if I could go like this around the outside, like some kind of shadow, it would probably not look so much like a woman. It would just look like a shadowy figure. That one feels so weirded out. Oh, that's just so weird that happened. So anywho, back in the day, they actually had people who could ring the bell, and those bells were huge and so much to take care of. But they withstanded so much back in the day. Okay, thank you so much for stopping by, listening to the story, and getting freaked out with me, I hope. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. There are a lot of more creepy things happening. I'll see you later. Have a good holiday. If I don't get back on here next week, I'm going to try, but it's pretty close to the holiday, and my son's birthday is on Monday, so I may not do anything on Monday. But if I do, then I will see you then. Bye bye for now.